So so from a very sad day to a very pathetic day. Sure you know where this is leading.
That's funny.
President Joe Biden is, well, he's not being impeached, but there are impeachment inquiries that are going down based on absolutely nothing. But as the story reads, Lana, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said Tuesday that he is directing House committees to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Biden, escalating GOP lawmakers' investigations into the president and his family's foreign business dealings. Despite McCarthy's claims, the investigations mounted by the House Republicans into Hunter Biden's conduct have yet to uncover direct evidence of wrongdoing by the president. Mr. Biden has denied any involvement in his son's foreign work, and the White House has said that the president is not involved in Hunter Biden's business activities. Devin Archer, the big whistleblower, the guy who was supposedly in the background on the phone during all these so-called business dealings, testified that absolutely nothing happened with him, and there was nothing nefarious between him, Hunter, and other than that was around the time where his son was dying of cancer, and they would call each other and they would check on each other. And that's Devin Archer actually said how heartwarming that was. Other than that, nothing.
Just nothing, folks. Did you hear Kevin McCarthy? Like, it's just, their lives are just so sickening, and it's just the same regurgitated. He just gets up there, this press conference, everyone's drooling and foaming at the mouth to ask him questions, and he gets up there with the same lie, while they've been on vacation, information has come to their attention,
this information has been coming to their attention for quite some time. I do have a clip of the press conference of Kevin McCarthy.
Sorry.
So no. I'm glad you brought it up, because Alana, I love segues, and you're good at bringing up something, and it seems to me like I always have a segue for it, and I swear that's not planned out.
What? We're here.
We're on that segue train. All right, I'm going to play this clip.
Despite these serious allegations, it appears that the president's family has been offered special treatment by Biden's own administration. Treatment that not otherwise would have received if they were not related to the president. These are allegations of abuse of power, obstruction, and corruption, and they warrant further investigation by the House of Representatives. That's why today I am directing our House committee to open a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden. This logical next step will give our committees the full power to gather all the facts and answers for the American public. That's exactly what we want to know, the answers. I believe the president would want to answer these questions and allegations as well.
It's my understanding, shouldn't you have some of the answers first before you launch an impeachment inquiry?
Exactly that.
Yeah, like when they first did it to Donald Trump, they had a transcript of the phone call to the Ukrainian president.
Absolutely.
And then let's launch the inquiry. Now, if I remember correctly, there was a big question that Nancy Pelosi did not take a House vote on it, but I think subsequently she did take a House vote on it, and they did vote to impeach the president based on, again, clear proof.
Yes.
But so far, I mean, again, maybe the news travels differently in Massachusetts as it does in Florida. Have you heard anything up there that maybe I have not, that there was any proof whatsoever that Joe Biden has done anything other than reading that there's been no proof?
They can't even figure out if it's Joe or Hunter. It's like this. Hunter is Joe one day. It's the whole crime family. It's just he's taking the millions of the dollars. It's like it's so great. Proof of what? Like they can't even name the crime.
Yeah.
They have yet to name exactly what. When they asked, was it Comer? What exactly is the crime? And I think this was on Fox News. And he was like taking money for policy. What exactly is the policy?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, listen, I think they've proven that Hunter Biden's kind of a fuck up. I mean, they've got that. We got that. I mean, I think it's proven that he has a drug problem. He makes bad decisions. And he's done a few things that are considered mid to low illegal things. If they do find something on Hunter Biden, whatever happens, happens. But again, this investigation, it's gone on for over 5 years.
That's so problematic, Brian, because like what person that you know that may be on drugs and may be carrying a gun illegally has Congress at their door? Like, when does that ever happen? That what he's doing, what Hunter has done is not in a goddamn vacuum. Like, he and how many other people have lied on gun applications?
Yep.
While they're like, there are people who commit domestic violence while they have guns. Congress isn't at their door. So them even to keep calling Hunter Biden's name a private citizen is still ridiculous, because why does Congress care? He is a private citizen. Let the local laws take care of that. I don't understand this.
Well, I think it's clear as to why they care. They care because they think this is going to be the new Benghazi and email thing that is going to destroy Joe Biden's presidency. But I think you brought this up a few shows ago, is that, with Hillary, it's going to work because they demonized Hillary her whole life. This one doesn't feel like it's going to work. I mean, I think people are going to look at this more. And in fact, it turns out impeaching presidents makes them more popular for some reason. But to your point too about Hunter Biden and the lying on his application, it's my understanding, and I may be wrong, but I think I understand this correctly, is that most of the times when somebody is charged with this, it's not the only charge. It's just something that is added to put more charges out there to make the case clearer. But if this is the only thing, usually it's not prosecuted.
Right. Like, and they're doing it because of who he is. Like, he's not getting special treatment because of who he is. He's getting treated worse because of who he is. It's so it's asinine. And you're absolutely right. It's just going to make Biden looks like, remember they had that recording of Biden calling his son. It's like, yeah, he seems like he really cares about his children.
Yeah,
He
how
calls his
awful.
son. Right, he calls his son to see how he's doing. Hunter has a drug problem. So does a whole bunch of Americans' children have drug problems. Like, you're demonizing this man with a problem. And a man lost his older son. He lost his first wife. He lost his daughter. Like, what is wrong with you guys? Like,
the zero sympathy for that is, to me, is again, it's just that's what makes me think that if another 9/11 happened, we've got people like this who are just have no sympathy whatsoever for anybody. And I don't know. This is again another thing that is going to backfire on the Republicans. I think at some point they're going to wind up blaming Antifa for all the Republican actions, because they've got nowhere else to go, because they're going to be like, we fucked this up so bad that it can only be false actors who did this, and Kevin McCarthy he was in with Antifa, or they're going to have to come up with something stupid, because this is not going to work.
They're going to, Democrats have got to be secretly saying, okay, let's roll.
They're saying it out loud. They asked John Fetterman today. Did you see him? Yeah.
Do we have it?
Damn it. No, you know what? Maybe I'll get a second, I can pull that up. But Yeah, he was basically like, "Oh, scary. Oh, they're gonna, and it's even that it's kind of sad that's where we got to in politics, but it's almost like that's how you have to react to these
Yeah.
people. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah.
but let's listen. Let's listen. Let's give him a chance. He didn't finish his press conference. Maybe he will say something that will change our minds.
Sure.
This effort will be led by Chairman James Comer at the Committee on Oversight in coordination with Chairman Jim Jordan for Judiciary.
That's the best news Joe Biden's gotten all day. If those two clowns are heading up the investigation,
Right.
this thing will be over very soon.
Committee
Jordan.
and Chairman Jason Smith on
I don't know
Ways and
Jason
Means.
Smith.
Now, I do not make this decision lightly.
Oh my
And regardless
God.
of your party or who you voted for, these facts should concern all Americans.
He is such a fucking.
He is you could say it, he is a pussy. He is a pussy. And it is so pathetic that he wanted this job so badly that he is letting Marjorie Taylor Greene push him around. Now, there's also reports that let me get my old glasses on, Lana.
But look at Brian. He's got like the paper. He's got his. Let's give Brian a shout out because everybody out there, Brian prepares the clips. Brian gets the topics. Brian's got his paper and his glasses. I got nothing.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I appreciate you saying that.
And you make it so I could just show up.
I think that's part of the agreement. I told you, I said, Lana, I'll make this easy on you. Let's get together. I'll do all the work. You show up because you got so much great things to say that we'll make this very easy on each other. So, but at the same time, I saw you on your show live. You've got your papers, you got everything going too. So, but
it's a lot harder to talk to yourself without a paper. You're like, what the hell?
I was gonna say this might be boring the audience, but I really don't give it. I'll sit here with you all night. We'll just volleyball compliments back at each other all night. But Donald Trump has been weighing in behind. He's been weighing in a lot, I'm sure. Not at 215 pounds, though. Donald Trump has been weighing in behind the scenes in support of the House GOP push to impeach President Joe Biden, including talking with a member of leadership in the lead up to Tuesday's announcements, authorizing a formal impeachment inquiry. The former president has been speaking weekly with House GOP conference chair Elise Stefanik, who was the first member of Republican leadership to come out in support of impeachment. The two spoke Tuesday after House Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced Republicans would be pursuing the inquiry, according to two people familiar with the conversation. Apparently, he also had a dinner at his golf club in Bedminster with Marjorie Taylor Greene regarding the inquiry. But this is beyond just proving that the Republican Party is no longer a serious party. I mean, they're just not serious. This is a big clown show now that, again, I've had this conversation a billion times and nobody's going to change my fucking mind on it. These two parties are not the same. I don't give a shit if the Democrats screw up a little bit here or there. I am not giving in to the fact that both parties are messed up and we kind of got to agree and fuck that. I'm not doing it. These two parties are not the same. One is a serious party trying to help American people. One is not a serious party at all.
Yeah, I don't know what Republicans are doing. Like, they're not talking about, they're not even talking about building anything in America. They're not talking about jobs. They're not talking about inflation. They're not talking about your gas. They're not even talking about taking Social Security, although we know they want to, but they've even put that on the back burner to like.
Some of them are still even on board with it, but you're right.
They're all on board. They're just not. It's about Trump right now. Like, they need to put two people on the ballot who have been impeached in 2024. Like, they just need, Trump needs that.
Yeah. And, I lost my train of thought, but I was going to say these two parties not being serious. Not only is Kevin McCarthy, he's just doing the bidding of Donald Trump, obviously, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, there's a battle in the Republican Party and on the House floor between factions of the Kevin McCarthy side and the non-Kevin McCarthy side. Matt Gaetz was on the House floor today and put in his 2 cents on what was going on. Oh, I know what I was going to say earlier. You were talking about inflation and that they're not talking about inflation. Well, right now they can't because everything is starting to go back to where, where it's making it more and more difficult for them to talk about the economy.
Yeah.
So that's why they need to stoop to levels like this and these ridiculous. And by the way, let's point out one other thing. This is an impeachment inquiry. It does not mean he's being impeached. And my guess is that they're not going to have the votes in the House because there are already enough House people that have come out and said, I'm not behind this at all. Not to mention, you've got some of these House candidates that are in Biden districts, and they're not interested in voting for impeachment of a president that is popular in their district or in their state.
And you, with nothing, like literally, you don't. What law? We're still waiting. How can you even have a vote and there's no law that he has broken? Because we think so. Because, like Rudy said, there's some smoke. We don't have any. We don't have facts, but we think. We think there's something there.
The guy's literally in front of a judge. You would have to have absolutely no shame whatsoever to go into a courtroom in front of a judge and say, I've got proof that the election was stolen. And the judge goes, okay, well, what proof do you have? And he goes, oh, I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Judge? It's like, wait, I thought you had something. Rudy isn't no. But anyway, this is Matt Gaetz on the House floor today. Usually I don't like to play Matt Gaetz because he's just one of those voices I can't stand hearing. But watching Republican on Republican battles here is fun to watch. So let's see what Matt Gaetz has to say.
This very floor in January, the whole world witnessed a historic contest for House Speaker. I rise today to serve notice.
That wasn't historic. That was embarrassing.
Mr. Speaker, you are out of compliance with the agreement that allowed you to assume this role. The path forward for the House of Representatives is to either bring you into immediate total compliance or remove you pursuant to a motion to vacate the chair. We have had no vote on term limits or on balanced budgets as the agreement demanded and required. There's been no full release of the January 6 tapes as you promised. There has been insufficient accountability for the Biden crime family. And instead of cutting spending to raise the debt limit, you relied on budgetary gimmicks and rescissions so that you ultimately ended up serving as the valet to underwrite Biden's debt and advance his spending agenda. Mr. Speaker, you boasted in January that we would use the power of the subpoena and the power of the purse. But here we are, 8 months later, and we haven't even sent the first subpoena to Hunter Biden. That's how you know that the rushed and somewhat rattled performance you just saw from the Speaker isn't real. At this point, during Democrat control over the House of Representatives, they had already brought in Don Jr. 3 times. And we haven't even sent the first subpoena to Hunter Biden. Power of the subpoena and power of the purse. Only thing the 118th Congress is known for at this point is electing Kevin McCarthy Speaker and underwriting Biden's debt. And unfortunately, there's only one of those things we can remediate at this time. Power of the purse.
So
I don't even know what he's saying.
What Matt is saying is in a way right, but he's saying it that is so wrong. He's saying that this is a sham because we haven't brought anybody in to really question them about this. But he's saying that he's mad at Kevin McCarthy because there hasn't been subpoenas for
the sham.
Zero proof for the sham. So
McCarthy's not lying good enough.
He's not lying. That is exactly right.
He's not lying enough.
You're not making up the story we need well enough.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
To convince those independents and maybe those fence riding Democrats to vote for Donald Trump is basically what he's saying. I mean,
The hell that I just watched. I'm just like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Lana, like I said earlier, these two parties are not the same. Do you think there's any show, whether it's a small show like ours or a large show from the Republican viewpoint, that they can play clips on their show of people on the House floor saying something as ridiculous as these people are saying? Now, they would play the clips and deem it as ridiculous based on their opinion on what's going on. But in reality, it's not even close. It's not even close. These are people who they would be, if they worked a regular job, they'd be fired 2-3 times because they're incompetent people.
They are. I can't even imagine. There's no way they're writing anything. That like they are stupid. Democrats must sit there and be like they must go to work just dreading being in the same room with these people, because it's got to be so frustrating to not do anything at work. Like you're just doing nothing.
It's unbelievable. And you know, I don't know what else to say. Beyond, I do have somebody though that sort of packaged this little thing up, the whole sham election.
Nice.
It is my girlfriend.
Yay.
Jessica Tarlov.
Go, Jessica.
And she had something to say about this whole situation. And I listened. I'm going to play as many clips as I can of her. I just, and again, she's extremely, forget about fooling around. She's extremely intelligent. She knows her shit. She knows how to lay it out. And that's exactly why I'm going to play this clip. One of the reasons.
Yay.
Serving Congress don't agree with him. So much so that they're on record saying things like this. David Joyce, Congressman, I'm not seeing the facts or evidence. Dusty Johnson, there's a constitutional legal test that you have to meet with evidence, and I haven't seen it. Don Bacon, there should be a direct link to the president and some of the evidence. I think we need to have more concrete evidence to go down that path. And then Ken Buck, the time for impeachment is the time when there's evidence linking President Biden, and I don't think that evidence has been presented. Now, these are not people who are Democrats. They're not members of the lamestream media or whatever you want to call it. Those are Republican Congress people. Kevin McCarthy, I guess, has amnesia. He has short-term and long-term. Last Friday, he told Breitbart that there would be no impeachment inquiry without a vote. He also, in 2019, went after Nancy Pelosi, saying if she was going to have an impeachment inquiry without a vote, it would create a process completely devoid of any merit or legitimacy. Well, welcome to the circus, Kevin McCarthy. That's what you've done. Nancy Pelosi did have that vote on October 31st in 2019. McCarthy has made too many promises to too many lunatics. Marjorie Taylor Greene, here, this Politico is reporting this afternoon that Donald Trump was on the phone with Elise Stefanik, number 3 in the conference, the GOP conference chair, talking about impeachment. He continues to do Donald Trump's bidding.
I still can't. I can't get over how great it is that they all have to sit there and shut up and listen to every word she has to say. I will say that every time I watch that clip, because her clips, because it's just so phenomenal.
Nothing, and I would love to know what's going on in their heads. Are they saying like, "Damn, she's got us here, she's got us there," or are they just?
I think they're kind of like, yeah, we know all this stuff, but our viewers aren't buying it, so we need to figure out exactly how we combat this to fool our viewers the way we do every night in and night out.
Yeah.
So interesting stuff going on.